I'm George Wrighster, he's Ralph Amsden, and this is Wrighster or Wrong. Make sure that you shoot us an email. I'm Matt, I-M-M-A-D @unafraidshow.com, or shoot us a text message, 818-293-7547, with all your comments, feedback, questions, any of that. The first thing up today, the future of the NCAA and college athletics hangs in the balance with the Senate hearings on name, image, and likeness that are taking place today. Canceler consequence today. Montez Sweat, NFL player, former first-round pick. He's taken a lot of heat about his refusal to take the COVID-19 vaccine, but he is just saying what a lot of NFL players are thinking. The FBI has arrested 800 alleged drug dealers, mafia members, and other organized criminals after the FBI led them to an encrypted communications platform secretly run by the FBI. This has got to be entrapment, right? The NBA is costing a lot of people a lot of money. Pat Riley just got fined $75,000, and we will tell you why. And of course, the best of social media. So, Ralph, I guess we'll start at the beginning today with the Senate hearings that are taking place about name, image, and likeness. And I've said that the future of college sports, that it hangs in the balance with what ultimately comes out of these hearings.
And you're right. You're right. If there is not national action that, can we just stop for a second? The national action needs to just be how we operate our economy in the first place. The idea that we have to have hearings to figure out how to operate the economy for these athletes the way that it operates for everybody else is absurd. It's absurd, but we need it. University of Illinois put out something a couple of days ago, and it kind of mirrors what a lot of the other schools in a lot of the different states are saying. University of Illinois said that they support the landmark legislation passed by the Illinois General Assembly over the holiday weekend regarding name, image, and likeness of college student athletes. For the first time, collegiate student athletes will have the ability to monetize the value they personally bring to an open market, while maintaining important distinctions between collegiate and professional athletics. We consistently support those initiatives that are in the best interest of student athletes and college athletics as a whole. In the absence of a national solution to address the important issue, this state-based legislation is a positive and necessary step toward modernizing the landscape of college sports. So that, like, this whole thing of every college is having to come out in support of this, whether or not the people there actually support it. Because if everybody supported it the way that they all seem to, it would have been done, right?
Yes, 100. Dude, see, that's it. Is that you've had so many college coaches come out now and give the obligatory, oh, listen, I support this. Everybody making money. It's BS. So many of them, namely Dabo Swinney, who is the $90 million man who was like, yo, if at the point in time players start getting paid, that's when I'm out. I'll go find something else to do. You a damn lie. Dabo will be there this season. He'll be there next season. The season after that, he was full of shit when he said it.
They'll have the money to bring in the best NIL experts and branders. He'll lead the charge.
Boom. 100% right. But the thing is that you made a great point, is that why does it take Senate hearings, which I participated in one of them, to come up with name, image, and likeness legislation? Like, why? The economy already has proved that it works. And there are some people who say, well, then if college players, if they can earn money, they should pay their own scholarships. Why should they pay their own scholarships when they're adding value to the colleges and not take, like, the name, image, and likeness does not mean that they are going to take any money out of the college's pocket. It just means that there are other buckets of money that are available. If you create a YouTube channel, a podcast, TikTok endorsements, anything, you should be able to make money from it the same way the kid who is on a science scholarship or music scholarship where they go and get jobs in orchestras and all of this stuff. They can make money, but college students, some kind of way, like they act like that this is like that this is gonna break college sports. It's not.
College football players do pay for their tuition. They do pay for their education, their room, their board. They pay for it all. It's called a trade. Like back in the old days when you would barter wampum for cattle. The actual act of playing and participating and practicing with the football team is the condition of the trade for their tuition and scholarship money. They are paying it. They're paying it. What they have to pay out of pocket? Is that what we're talking about here? Because they are literally paying out of pocket when you restrict their ability to participate in the marketplace. Yep. You are taking money out of their pocket. They have been paying. They have been penalized. Not all of them equally, but that's society. The weirdest thing to me, it's the people who are as invested in preserving the union and its economy as it currently is, the people who are most excited about the idea of a free market that allowed their granddaddy to come up and them to surf the wave, or them to come up themselves as an entrepreneur. Those seem to be the people up until this recent cultural push to be the ones most opposed to it.
Yes.
The free market people were opposed to the free market, and it always drove me absolutely crazy.
Okay, so the reason why national legislation is needed is because you have Georgia, which had House Bill 617. It goes into effect July 1st, 2021. That it says that all student athletes share up to 75% of the name, image, and likeness compensation received, that they share it with other athletes. That if you make $100, you have to share 75 with somebody else. Like, what type of socialism is this coming out of Georgia? Get out of here, dude. Like, if they tried this with people's normal jobs, they would be like, they would bring out the guns. New Mexico has a law that's supposed to go into effect July 21st, and it talks about like athletes so anyways, all of the state stuff is different. I don't even know why New Mexico needs one, because they don't even play Division I college athletics, do they?
Sometimes it's the smaller areas and smaller towns where you actually have an easier time figuring out exactly what the incentive would be. It used to be getting people jobs at car dealerships and stuff like that, which was ultimately trading on your name, image, and likeness in that way. And we still have boosters giving handouts and helping hands to people all over the country. But so I'm a Wyoming fan, right? Up there, Wyoming, somewhere over there. Right there. I'm a Wyoming fan. I have a cousin that lives in central Wyoming. Her and her husband do pretty well for themselves. Among other things included in the assets that they have, they own a hotel. I would love nothing more than for my cousin to step in and be like, hey, Wyoming's quarterback, Sean Chambers, is telling you, go stay at this hotel in Douglas, Wyoming. Like, I want to see stuff like that because I want a competitive advantage within the Mountain West for my team.
No, go on.
No, I think it might actually be a little bit more practical and less noisy for some of these. And some of the best college programs are in smaller areas. Tuscaloosa is one of those. Auburn is another one of those. Like it sometimes when it's a neighborhood situation, you do have the ability to. It wouldn't be as overwhelming because honestly. If we're being very honest about this, there's going to be some kids at USC who were offered money to appear in a porn. And then all of a sudden we have this quandary of
where is the line?
Yeah. Do you have a USC linebacker getting paid to endorse
Daddy Long Strokes?
Right. And because that is what it opens it up to, because that is the economy that we exist in presently, you're allowing them to participate in the economy that we exist in presently. I'm telling you right now, George, I will straight up pay people either from Unafraid Show or Arizona Varsity accounts
for
to
interviews
endorse the things that we're saying and interview them.
100,
why not?
Dude, 100%. There will be a budget for that. So Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, New Mexico, and Georgia and Florida all have bills that are going to go into place July 20. Well, that start working July 21st, 2021. And the reason why there needs to be national legislation is because all of them are different. Every state is different. And that creates a problem with the competitive landscape and just having some sort of uniformity on how to hold championships, who's eligible, who's not eligible, who, like, all of these sorts of things. And that's why you need national legislation surrounding it. But the colleges truly have been so slow. I mean, absolutely turtle pace at adopting this. And we'll actually cover this more, and then the potential playoff expansion and all of that on the Pac-12 Apostles. So here is though the argument though against it, Ralph, is that there are so many people that'll say, oh, well, this is going to break college sports. And what about recruiting? What about recruiting? It'll create a not a level playing field for recruiting. And I'm like, no, it would actually probably level it out more than anything else, because the top recruits, what schools do they go to, Ralph?
The top recruits go to Alabama. The top recruits go to Georgia. The top recruits go to Oregon. The top recruits go to Clemson. They go to the same
and Ohio
schools.
State. Yeah.
And Ohio State. And there will be money in Columbus. You bet your ass.
So, but the whole point is that there's not a competitive landscape in recruiting already. It's already skewed towards a teeny bit of the 128 schools or 130 schools.
I do think it could be good for the Pac-12 insofar as 2-3 years into this, you might actually see people have a leg up locally. When some of the, like, I'm going to start working with some of these kids as freshmen and sophomores in the areas where I have coverage. We're going to make sure they're known brands by the time that they're going into college. And in that case, if you're a known brand in that region, and what's important to you is that you, all other things being equal, that you're able to capitalize on that opportunity while you're in school, you might stay closer to home.
Yep. 100%. Well, I don't want that for my University of Oregon, but I do want that for
Yeah, but how much is it going to affect when you could literally have a Nike deal as an Oregon quarterback?
Yep. Hey, I am in. I just took my son to quarterback training today.
Ty Thompson's signature shoe before he ever starts a game. Let's go.
My God, bro, that would be insane. On to the next thing though, and this is cancel or consequence. So I didn't tell Ralph this, but I was like, why do we always do cancel or consequence at the end of the show when sometimes cancel or consequence needs to be at the beginning of the show because it's something important?
You made it like the Daily Double, like it could happen anytime.
Yeah. So cancel or consequence today is you have Montez Sweat, who he plays for the Washington football team, a former first-round pick. He's taking a lot of heat about his refusal to take the COVID-19 vaccine. That has created just an absolute firestorm about this quote. He said, "I'm not a fan of it at all. I won't get vaccinated until I get more facts." And on why he's hesitant, I haven't caught COVID yet, so I don't see me treating COVID until I actually get COVID. So what are your thoughts? Because there's a lot of people, he's taking a lot of heat for this, but he's also only saying a lot of the things that other college football players, NFL players are saying privately.
Yeah, anytime anybody starts a sentence with "I don't have all the information that I need to make an informed decision on this," which is pretty decent summary of what he said, even if it did come with a twinge of cynicism and skepticism toward a massive public health issue. Anytime anybody starts a sentence with "I don't have all the information that I need," and then the next sentence that comes out of their mouth affirms the first sentence, because the next sentence that came out of his mouth was pretty wild. Like, I'll treat COVID when I get COVID, thank you. But then knowing that that's not the point of a vaccine, the point is to
Correct.
keep you from. But watching everybody explode and freak out and get mad at him when all he did is say, like, "I don't know what I'm talking about, and here's an example."
Yes.
Like, I don't. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He said. So are you going to freak out every single time one of these athletes tells you that they have questions about vaccinations, when you should know from your personal life, because you shouldn't exist in some weirdo bubble? You should know from your personal life that it's pretty much 50-50 on people who were enthusiastic or even begrudgingly got the vaccine, and other people who were either skeptical, in wait and see mode, or anti-vax. Right?
Yep.
In my personal life, it's certainly 50-50. I feel like I know a lot of people, and I feel like I'm interested in this topic and trying to leave the door open to have these conversations with other people so that they feel safe instead of looked down on. Because I don't like it when I have friends who are like, "I'm on the right side of history by not getting vaccinated," because the implication is that Ralph is on the wrong side of history by getting vaccinated. So I just want to leave the door open for those kind of conversations. And white check or blue check Twitter is driving me nuts every single time one of these quotes comes out, because they try to electronically crucify some athlete for existing within probably the same percentage base of opinions as the rest of us.
Correct.
These things need to be addressed through grace and education. They really do. And now Sam Darnold has jumped out and said that he also is not vaccinated, and that it's personal and he needs to look into it more. And now he's trending.
Yeah, and the same thing basically happened when Josh Allen was asked after Bills general manager Billy Beane was like, "Yo, I might make some roster decisions based upon who's vaccinated and who's not." And I was sitting there like, who are you going to cut your starting quarterback? Because he clearly dodged that question. It was not like, "Yeah, I'm vaccinated." No, it was like, you know, everybody's got to make their own personal decisions, blah, blah, blah. You're just like, you ain't vaccinated, homie.
Right. Cole Beasley, in same situation.
Is he going to cut them? How about no?
Right. I think that you and I touched on it a little bit in previous shows. The vaccine makes you feel bad. Makes a lot of people feel bad for, most of the stories you're getting is like 24 to 48 hours of not feeling all that great after getting the vaccine. My pool guy came over like the day after he got vaccinated a couple of months ago, and he was like, "Somebody told me that if I took 2 Tylenol every 4 hours for 10 hours leading up to the vaccine and 24 hours after, I'd be fine." And I was. And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So then I tried that, and it didn't matter. I got a blood pressure spike, and for the first 10 hours after the vaccine, I was a little worried. And the next day I felt good. I'm a little worried. I was pretty unhappy to be alive for those few hours.
Why did I do this? This could have been a bad decision.
Yeah, man, because a blood pressure spike is like, it's like you're going down on a roller coaster on that first dip that just never ends. You're just like, the whole time. And so, and I didn't enjoy that. And so you have all these people telling stories of how they didn't feel good after the vaccine. And then you've got a bunch of young men in peak physical condition. The numbers kind of play out that those are the people that seem to be least affected, though it is not 100%. It's not 100% accurate. There's a margin of error. But for the most part, those are the people that get COVID and are ultimately fine. That's not accounting for whether or not you pass it on. But they're saying like, "Oh, do I really want to feel bad? Do I really want to have lasting effects if if actually getting COVID is going to give me the antibodies and it won't be as bad as getting the vaccine. So you have a lot of young men actually going through this thought process, and to deny that people are thinking that way, whether it's correct or not, to just dismiss it as lunacy or idiocy, or to cancel them or say that they're bad forever is dumb. This is canceled. This is not consequence, in my opinion.
What, Ralph, you are right. I agree with you. This is cancellation. This is not consequence culture. This is a case of people are saying, I'm on the right side of history, but you're like, are you sure though? You know what I mean? Like you're like, there isn't like it's so new, right? That, I mean, it's like people thought that things that we were doing at the beginning of the pandemic were the correct thing. And it was at the time because we didn't know. We had so little bit of information, and it continued to grow month after month. So now when you look back at stuff we did in March, it feels foolish, right? And now, but that doesn't mean it was foolish at the time, because you didn't have enough information, and it's always better to overreact in terms of protection than it is to underreact.
But I think people would take that same sentence that you just said and say that's exactly why you go out and get vaccinated. And,
that's reasonable.
And I think that in a vacuum, within a tiny, confined, non-contextual space, it's very simple. A dangerous disease is out there. A vaccine exists. You should get the vaccine. That's the vacuum that people are thinking in, but we don't live in that vacuum.
But a lot of people are also like, I think that there is a segment of the population that's just like, COVID is not real, I'm not getting vaccinated. And then there's a segment of the population that's like, listen, it is real, but I'm at very low risk. I don't want to get the vaccine if I don't have to. And then there are people who are more like me, who are like, I'll probably get the vaccine, but I just want to wait and see. I just want to wait and see what happens to Ralph and more people that I know. If 6 months from now, if he's having some sort of, horns growing out of his head, or high blood pressure, fertility issues, all of this stuff, like,
well, I better be having fertility issues. The opposite of fertility issues for me would be the problem.
Right?
I'm not trying to catch you in kid count, man.
Right? All right. The next thing up, the NBA is handing out tampering fines. It is handing out tampering fines to people. And the newest one was Pat Riley saying that he would leave a shiny key under that mat if LeBron James wanted to return to South Beach. And then the league fined him $25,000 for anti-tampering, for violating their tampering policy. And then last week, you had Daryl Morey, GM of the 76ers, get fined $75,000 for reposting a screenshot of Steph Curry posting a picture of his brother Seth Curry after he balled out. And he was like, yo, Steph said, hey, yo, Seth, yo, man, was this you balling? And Daryl Morey screenshot it, took a picture, and was like, yo, you can come out here too and play with your brother if you want to. 75,000, wow, bro. Steph is a free agent after next season, but come on, man. Like I get the league. The league feels like it's doing this for show because the players already have backdoor connections to all the general managers, the players on the team, where they can just send a text, be like, hey, yo, I'm telling you, bro, Seth can call FaceTime his brother with Daryl Morey sitting there, and Daryl Morey can be like, hey, yo, come hang out with us, player. We want you. And nobody would ever know. And those are the types of things that build super teams. But what the hell are you going to do? Draymond Green got fined $50,000 for saying that Devin Booker deserved better in Phoenix.
Should have been 250.
Of course you would say that. So, but these fines are for show, and they're super weak.
Okay. Do you ever go into like you're about to walk into a restaurant, you got your kids outside, they're wearing nicer clothes than they would normally wear. You got people in the building that you might need to impress or at least not ruffle any feathers. And you turn to your kids and in that moment of desperation, you have to like bring down the veil of the fact that you're the iron-fisted parent just for a moment and say like, please don't embarrass me in here. Like we both know who I am and who you are, and we probably don't belong in this room. We're not as civilized as we should be. Please just pretend for an hour that we're not animals. Right? That's what every single one of these NBA fines feels like to me is that like it's the NBA being like, hey, I know, you know that we know, but can you just not right now, not publicly, not here? Don't do this. Like that's the feeling that I get because the idea that this is something that you can stop is so funny. There was a podcast, I think it might have been on the Volume network that the Rams head coach McVay co-hosts with a reporter, and they had Cliff Kingsbury on this last week, and they told a story about how Cliff, right after taking the Cardinals job, went to dinner with Sean McVay and Pat Mahomes, and Sean McVay changed his a number in his phone of a friend's to say Roger Goodell, and then he had the friend text at dinner saying like, hey, you cannot be there with Cliff and Pat Mahomes. This is going to cost both of your teams. Like, this is definitely going to cost the Cardinals. And so McVay's showing this text message to Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury's freaking out. Like, it's just, it was an incredible prank. But that's kind of what it reminds me of is, like, we all know the things that are done. We all know that these people all know each other, especially in the NBA, in the age of, like, club culture. The super teams exist at the prep school level. All these people know
each other since they were little kids. Like when my son goes to camps now, he knows half the kids there.
Right.
Like they've known each other, played against each other.
And it's not like back in the day. This is a big argument because I cover in high school football that I was getting into people that are like, oh, transfer culture. It used to be one town, one team. We used to have pride. And I was like, yeah, but you didn't used to have Facebook where you actually connected with the best football player in another town on social media when you were both in Pop Warner. Yep. And then you actually are excited to see that person when you go play. And the idea of playing with them seems like it would be a whole lot of fun. It was a completely different time and world. And so I don't know if the NBA needs to stop doing this, but we definitely need to acknowledge that the players can do what they. I think what they're just trying to say is like, this just can't be out in the public because we have to have the people who don't pay close attention to the NBA need to have that like blind idiot level faith in what we're doing.
Oh, that's funny. See, you are 100% right about that in that, dude, like that blind faith is definitely what people want. Like it's the illusion. They don't want to be in the sausage factory. They want to pretend like the sausage factory does not exist. The next thing up is a hilarious story. And I feel on some level, I feel like it's wrong. And because for fear of sounding like a criminal sympathizer, the FBI has arrested 800 alleged drug dealers, mafia members, and other organized criminals after it created an encrypted communications platform that was secretly run by the FBI. And they're like, yo, I can talk to everybody, like whether it's a encrypted version for criminals for WhatsApp. Like that's essentially what it is. And it allows them, because mind you, criminals buy and sell drugs and cryptocurrency too. And people like they're not buying it on freaking Robinhood or Coinbase. They're using other forms of trading cryptocurrency. And people are like, oh my God, how is this? This feels wrong to me, Ralph. This feels like entrapment. They created a platform for people to secretly communicate, and this feels like it violates all the terms of service. it feels icky, right? Or am I all alone?
No, it's this weird gray area where like everybody thinks it, but no one wants to be the one to come out and say it when you have like the Chris Hansen stings of people who wouldn't be in trouble for messaging a 13-year-old girl if there wasn't a fake 13-year-old girl trying to get them to message them.
But they were already looking like
They were already right. So in this FBI situation, they were already going to be doing criminal activities. They were just going to be doing it elsewhere. It's not a fan of entrapment, not a fan of I'm a big fan of minding your own business, but what I definitely don't like is the type of cold-hearted criminal that would engage in certain types of trafficking that leaves like wanton death and destruction in its path. This story is so wild. Like 800 different people got arrested between the United States, Australia, world, several other countries. The thing that I'm trying to be really cautious about, and by the way, the FBI has 3.3 million followers on Twitter. What type of person follows the FBI?
Not me, bro.
It makes me so uncomfortable. I saw that. I checked to see if you follow them. You do not. But
that's funny. You be doing investigative work when nobody's looking. You be like, let me see if George freaking follows the FBI. We're done.
You know I'm into that. You know I'm into that gotcha stuff. But I'm not a fan though. I'm not.
So if I were following the FBI, you would have busted me out on this, wouldn't you?
I would have said, George, you're one of them. I would have slipped it in there. But so here's the thing. I think that this was a nondescript enough story that here's the reason they actually did it. Because technology is moving so incredibly fast, and it's not allowing for people to who are in law enforcement to catch up, right? And criminals will always innovate. The amount of work that somebody will put into not doing an honest day's work is incredible. It's just amazingly incredible. And so the FBI needed something like this. They needed to say they needed to release something that said, hey, we're technologically relevant for anybody out there that's using any type of technological edge to scam people, to smuggle things, to hurt people, to gain an unfair advantage financially, to oppress people. Anyone who is thinking about doing something like that, you need it in the back of your mind. You need that seed in the back of your mind that we might be in there with you.
Yeah.
And I think that putting a story out there where they made 800 arrests, we don't know if 650 of those arrests are immediately going to get dismissed.
Yeah,
because arrests aren't convictions.
Correct.
So when they say like we arrested 800 people around the world for using an app that we came up with and tricked everybody else into using, it begs the question of why would you blow your cover on something like this unless, and we have plenty of stories of the FBI like being human and mishandling things, and we've gotten into it quite a bit on this show just with their investigation into pay-for-play basketball schemes and things like that. The idea of going out and just arresting a bunch of people is to put it in the back of the minds of everybody who might do something like this not to do it. But the truth of the matter is, it's probably going to be really hard for them to, even with this plethora of information, even hosting the network of the communications that go back and forth on their own network, they're still going to have to battle a million different lawyers and everything like that. And at the end of the day,
see, the part that feels bad to me and icky is that, like, yeah, you potentially caught some criminals, right? But how does it feel when you think that the NSA is listening to every single conversation that you say? And if you say a couple of buzzwords, then now all of a sudden you're on the radar and they're listening to everything that you say. They're peeking in through your TV, through your through the microphone on your computer and the camera on your computer, everything else. Like,
man, I am a Christian who was raised to believe in Santa Claus. Get in line, NSA. You be the third person. You be the third person listening in on all my calls and conversations. And seeing what I search for online and everything like that. That's just more of the same. And I think that once you're raised with that idea of like, you know, the naughty list, he sees you when you're sleeping and all that stuff, it's a little bit easier to stomach that there might be organizations out there that are doing the same exact thing. But it is very, very dumb to use the internet and leave a paper trail or an electronic trail of
Yeah,
your
but if you think
crimes.
it's encrypted, like if you think that this is like Bitcoin essentially or cryptocurrency where you don't have to put your name on it, then yeah, it can feel like you thought you were safe. You
How
thought you
many
were
people?
safe.
How many people out of 1,000 understand what encryption entails versus what the word encryption means? I think 750 out of 1,000 know what the word encryption means. I think maybe 3 out of 1,000 know what it entails. We just accept what people tell us. It's that line from Tommy Boy. You want me to take a shit in a box and mark it with a guarantee? I'll do it. I've got spare time. Like, all he's telling you is a guaranteed piece of shit. You can write guarantee on it. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything
Yep.
ultimately unless you actually test
Under
that.
correct. Correct.
Right.
And if
So
you don't understand that just putting on a private browser does not make you private, no, you need a VPN, you need other things. Like there are things that you can do to be completely private. But this ain't one of them. And I'm not trusting a damn app to like I would know in the back of my mind I always assume that the feds are taping always, and I'm not even involved in any criminal activity, but I just know the feds are always taping. But now though, it is time for the best of social media. This is the segment where we give you the best of social media. And the first thing up is Ralph found this one. This is Burger King. And they have I'm assuming this is in Germany or Switzerland or something like that.
I do believe this is German.
Yeah. As a man who has a German last name, I understand this. It says WIR. So it's an ad. It appears to be a Whopper breaking through a red piece of paper. And it says WIR, SUCHEN under that. So it's WIR, next line, SUCHEN, next line, DICH. So when you say it, it sounds like we're sucking dick. I should have let you say that, Ralph. I should have let you say it. Damn it.
I saw it coming, and I was like, I'm gonna screen grab this. I can't stop myself from doing it. I'm sorry, dude. It's like I can't speak German. Sukin is how you pronounce it. Not much better.
Oh, we're sukin. It sounds like a person with it sounds like Conor McGregor saying it when you say sukin.
Do you want to take a guess at what it actually says?
It says the Whopper is great.
The Whopper is great. Oh no! It says we're accepting applications.
Are you serious? That doesn't look like we're hiring.
We are looking. I think it means we are looking for applications. Applications is the word that's in the small print, which it seems like the most important word in the sentence. This feels intentional.
Yes. Well, see, if it's in Germany, no, it's not. But for everybody else, like that's one of them double entendres. Like, if people in the United States see this, they're gonna love it.
Oh no, it's not a double entendre if you only know English. It only means one thing. Also, okay, so since you brought up Burger King, they're in the chicken sandwich wars. Are you gonna try one?
No, I don't eat at Burger King. I haven't eaten at Burger King in probably 10 years, probably. Well, actually, since they changed to them nasty ass fries. But I don't really eat fast food, so I've probably been to McDonald's twice in the last 2 years.
Does it change your mind? Does it change your mind now that you know that they're Suchin ditch or whatever?
No, hey, dude. All right. So, but also Burger King is also donating. Never mind. I'm not even gonna go
Next.
Next. You already know what I was gonna bring up, huh? Huh? Do you know what I was gonna bring up?
I do.
Okay,
Next.
that I probably should not, huh?
Probably not.
All right, here we go. The next
Anyway, Burger King is hiring for anybody interested, especially our German listeners.
The next thing up is early morning police chases. So this is clearly like Houston or Texas, because this is the way their underpasses work, with those like roundabouts kind of under. And this dude is running up it. He's leading the police on a chase up it. And dude, this is the OJ version of a foot chase. This is a slow speed chase. Like so much so, and the hill is steep. The dude is out of shape. He starts walking up the hill, and the police officers are still walking up the hill because they can't catch his ass. This is where I truly believe that there should be fitness tests for police officers. There should absolutely be fitness tests.
He's getting on the
because
fucking highway.
If you're in shape and you have to chase somebody, right? I'm talking about for patrol officers.
Oh.
If you're in shape and you have to chase somebody, you're going to be less inclined to beat their ass once you catch them if you're in shape, as opposed to if you were like, you made me get all sweaty, I'm out of shape, my heart's racing, I feel like I'm dying, I'm kicking the shit out of you.
However, the ass kicking will probably be less severe if they're winded.
No, dude, they'll just use their taser, their nightstick, something like that.
You know what? Okay, so obviously the person that was fleeing in an impossible situation right there, who decided to run up that grass hill with 3 officers in pursuit. Obviously, he's probably not somebody who thinks things through.
Yes.
But what he was leading them up to another road surface where more officers are coming. So what I would have loved to have seen in that situation is once he reached the top and he was walking and they were all walking, was to turn around and run back down the hill as fast as he could.
Oh
just
my
to
God.
split the defense. Just go right through, because then you have all the cops are on their way up the exit because that's the direction he was going. And then you have some very winded, very out of shape cops who have to run down a grass hill. Oh, that would have been fantastic to see. Anyway, I hope everybody was safely made it home.
Dude, right? Without having a damn heart attack. All right.
Would you file workman's comp over like a strained hammy from running up a grass hill like that?
See, all right, I'm the wrong person to ask because I've never been involved in like a real workers' comp. Like the last time that I got injured on a job, I was playing professional sports. So I don't even know how this process works. I literally don't understand. I know that we pay for workers' comp, especially with the Amazon company, and the prices are astronomical. But and we've had people use it, but I've never been through the process or like what's a fileable, injury or whatever. So hopefully it never comes to that. But the last thing up in the best of social media is this. This is your boy Garrett Cole. So baseball has a problem with where there was a PED problem in the 80s and 90s. There is now a pitchers using foreign substances on the ball to the way they can get their spin rate up. The higher the spin rate, the more the ball moves, which makes it harder for batters to hit it. And Garrett Cole, $200 million man or $300 million man from the Yankees, he was asked if he's ever used spider tack. And here's what he said.
And have you ever used spider tack while pitching?
I don't know. I don't know if I don't quite know how to answer that, to be honest. There are customs and practices that have been passed down from older players to younger players, from the last generation of players to this generation of players. And, I think there are some things that are certainly out of bounds in that regard. And I've stood pretty stood pretty firm in terms of that, in terms of the communication between our peers and whatnot. And I, again, like I mentioned earlier, there's, this is important to a lot of people that love the game, and this is including the players in this room, including fans, including, teams. And so if MLB wants to, legislate some more stuff, that's a conversation that we can have, because ultimately we should all be pulling in the same direction on this.
He might as well have said, "Yo no hablo inglés." Like, he might as well have said that.
I feel bad for him because the silence, which was brutal, and the look on his face and the color leaving his skin, like all that was a dead giveaway. The answer was yes. And he could have in that moment said yes, but I think that it would have overshadowed a lot of what he said next, which was really important stuff, which is that, hey, we're actually communicating as a group of players. I have certain things that I'm not willing to budge on that I believe are sacred, that I don't think we should go, but this stuff has been passed down from the previous generation to ours and the previous one to them. And so, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. We're in communication about it. And if they want to legislate it, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. If you boil it down like that, it is a fantastic answer. However, he glitched. He glitched early on, and now he's getting dragged.
Yes.
He's getting dragged all over social media when the answer was good and productive. It was helpful to hear something like, look, we came in, the pitchers that were pitching kind of showed us the way. We continued to do things the way that they were doing them. I think that there's a line that goes too far, but that's between the players and I, and we're discussing that now. If baseball wants to come in and define that line for us, they have every right. That's a good ass answer. And that's what he said. That's what he said. And nobody's going to hear a word of it.
Because they stop it at the because
that was brutal.
All right, see, I don't know. I guess, dude, that was the he would have been better off being like, "Hola, no comprende," like, and then say, "Oh, sorry, I just glitched," or he would have been better off doing who was that Jason Kidd or one of the coaches was like in the playoffs was like, bump into me, and then he drops the drink.
Oh, Jason Kidd, yeah.
So he gets an extra time out because they got to clean it up.
Oh, I think I'm getting a phone call.
Yeah, exactly. He should have been like, "Oh, hold on, hold on, it's my wife."
He should have flat out looked right into the camera and been like, Naomi Osaka was right. Stood up and walked right off stage.
Yes!
And had the Calm app pay his fine.
Dude, that would have been Dude, you are 100% right. You guys, that is Wrighster or wrong. I am George Wrighster. He is Ralph Amsden. Peace out. Catch you guys on Friday. Yeah, we're out.